Welcome to the Smackdown Recap. I'm Dylan Graives, joined by John Sutton, and we will be recapping this past week's Friday Night Smackdown. Let's get into it. Alright, so Smackdown kicked off right away with the number one contenders match for Cody Rhodes' WWE, undisputed WWE Championship, no longer calling it the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I don't know if you noticed that, but they dropped Universal out of the name.
Just getting the tongue twister out of the way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, now it's only like a half a mouthful instead of a whole mouthful.
It's like two mouthfuls before to be.
Yeah. So we start with LA Knight versus AJ Styles, the winner to face Cody Rhodes at Backlash. They started off with back and forth headlocks, quite a bit actually. LA Knight eventually took control before sending AJ Styles to ringside. While at ringside, LA Knight smashed AJ Styles' head on the announce table 11 times while the crowd chants, "Yeah!"
Yeah!
before he rolled Styles back into the ring. Styles took control, but LA Knight sent him back out of the ring as we head into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, LA Knight is still in control. We end up with a double crossbody that leads into a double down, something that we'll see again in the main event. Kind of odd that they booked that same spot twice. It's very unlike them when they're so strict about not letting people do the same thing in multiple matches of the same night.
It's a new era.
It's a new era. Following the double down, they trade punches before Knight takes control. He then hits a superplex for a 2 count. Styles fights back into it with a moonsault into an inverted DDT for his own 2 count. LA Knight counters the Styles clash, but Styles gets a 2 count off of a roll-up. Following the roll-up, he ends up getting a Pele kick, but then misses a phenomenal forearm. LA Knight hits a power slam, followed by an elbow. Styles escapes the BFT, though. Styles hits LA Knight with a hot shot, followed by an eye poke, and then finally hitting the phenomenal forearm to get the win as the match wrapped up. I would have preferred to see LA Knight get the win, but at the same time, we don't need a babyface match at Backlash, so it makes more sense to have AJ Styles get the win. I don't know that it necessarily hurts Knight either.
No, he still put on it. It still was a good match, or whatever. Styles was gonna win no matter what. That's just how I saw it from when I first watched the match to the end. The new music I have to get used to.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, these new Def Rebel songs, they're kind of trash. I have somewhere in my notes, I think it was for Naomi's entrance, that I commented that her new music is trash. I didn't mind
on that.
I didn't mind the last one, but her original one was probably the best. But this new one where it just starts off real like the long intro of just spelling out her name, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Def
I don't even
Rebel's
remember her original.
Her last one was like a remix of the original.
Okay. Makes sense then.
Her original may have been a Jim Johnston one, which would make sense as to why it would be the better one. And then the remix may have been a CFO one, and then now we have Def Rebel. But Def Rebel's been taking a lot of heat on social media because the new music that they're doing is just garbage. Like, if we're in a new era...
we are in a new era.
Right. But, like, in this new era, I think we need to go back to an older era and get Jim Johnston back, because CFO wasn't the answer. but CFO was better than Def Rebel. Like, these songs are just garbage. In an article about how bad Def Rebel is, there's a clip of a tweet talking about the new tag titles, and the initial tweet is, "Now those are tag team titles," and the subsequent response is, "Def Rebel didn't create those belts or give them a remix, thank God."
Dude, I'm looking at all the Johnston songs, and I'm like,
They're the ones that you remember,
that's
aren't
childhood. That's
they?
childhood
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Triple H has been all about bringing people back that he liked. Dude, he needs to bring back Jim Johnston. Get rid of this
If he
Def
wants
Rebel.
to.
He needs to.
If Johnston wants to
He
come
needs
back,
to listen to the people, okay? It's all about people power.
I am John Laryngitis.
Yeah, I'm going to have to cut this out because Johnny Ace was one of the people listed in the lawsuit with McMahon. So, yeah, I can't leave that in.
But we can still talk like him.
I mean, we're far enough in that nobody's going to hear it anyway.
No!
Anywho.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Our viewer retention is trash.
Watch our shit. Or listen to it. You don't have to watch it.
Just start only reviewing for the first minute, and after that, just start having random conversation to see how many people actually get far enough, and see if someone comments like, "What the fuck is this?" Like after the first insert timestamp here, it's just random nonsense.
I think you should leave some of the babble on just to see.
I really should be saving all of this random babble to do like a bloopers reel, but
Was this Pixar?
Well, not like on the end of each video, but just like a compilation down the line.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as I'm done, like as soon as I have the final render, I delete everything because it's like, get this out of my face. I'm sick of looking at it. Like,
just get it out there to the public.
Like the days when I gotta edit multiple recaps, I am so sick of listening to Elvin and the motherfucking Chipmunks by the end of it. Because like I listened to it all at 1.5 speed. Anyway, now that we've killed probably 7 minutes of recording, that's all gonna get sent to the cutting room floor. Following the number 1 contenders match, we get a flashback to last week with the Bloodline. We then see an SUV pull up while Paul Heyman is standing out waiting patiently. And Solo Sikoa gets out of the SUV, no longer wearing the hoodie. No, he's wearing a suit.
It's Versace.
Dressed up tonight. Then we see Tama Tonga creepily appear behind Paul Heyman. Solo tells Heyman to meet the newest member of the Bloodline, and Solo then refers to Tama as his, quote, MFT.
What does that even mean?
Not sure. I made the mistake of listening to the What Culture Smackdown review before we recorded ours. So now I have to make sure, like, while we're recording ours, that I'm not just regurgitating their opinions. Like, I specifically didn't listen to their episode talking about, like, their 10 people that could move in the draft, because it's like, if I listen to that, it's going to sway what I think before I do mine. So, like, I still want to listen to their content because I love their content, but I got to make sure that when we haven't recorded ours, that I don't listen to theirs first, because now, like, every step of the way, I'm thinking, okay, am I just spewing their opinion back and calling it my own? But,
anyways, watch our stuff.
My first thought for MFT was My Family Tree, and they also said this in theirs. I think it was Simon Miller on the Ups and Downs said that he thought MFT probably stood for My Family Tree. It may have been on the Smackdown review as well. I'm not
It's
sure.
all about family.
It's all about the family. After Solo introduces Tama as his MFT, he then asks if Kevin Owens is there, and Heyman just kind of stumbles over his words, talking about like the show's already started, so yeah, he's probably here. Like it's SmackDown, dude. It's the show that Kevin Owens is on. It's the KO show, baby.
It's the KO show.
Solo tells Heyman to take him to Kevin Owens, and then we go into a commercial break. When we come back, Nick Aldis is standing in the ring. This time they got a blue carpet because we're on SmackDown now. Fuck that red carpet bullshit. And whoever could have guessed of who he was going to invite out, none other than Triple H. Triple H, of course, has to take the time to remind us that it's a new era.
A new era.
But while Triple H is coming down to the ring, we got another QR code, seemingly teasing the return of Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six. Triple H announces that they're sold out once again. 15,000 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kind of odd they're back in Pennsylvania already. Yeah, so the total attendance that they announced was 14,994.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good for just a weekly show.
Yeah. You can tell that they got a lot of good shit going on right now.
Yeah. The typical lull that would come following WrestleMania, where like it's been built up so much, and then you hit that Avengers Endgame-esque, like, ironically,
finishing the story.
Yeah, you hit that peak, and then you get the Eternals afterwards.
Yeah.
Where we haven't had that. We went from Avengers Endgame back to, like, we went right into Secret Wars, which hasn't even been released yet in the MCU, but it's coming, and it's probably going to be fucking awesome. But like there was no lull there. It's still good. I mean, the lull is going to be coming, whether or not it happens this year. I would love to see them stay hot all the way into WrestleMania 41. So Triple H announces that they're once again sold out, and he praises Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis as general managers before having Nick Aldis invite A-Town Down Under to the ring. They get down there, and Waller calls the World Tag Championships the second place prize, insinuating that R-Truth and The Miz are like the B tier tag champions.
Yeah. Which is stupid, but whatever.
Well, I mean, they're heel characters, and technically they grabbed the SmackDown titles first. So calling the Raw or the Raw tag team titles the second place prize, I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Not wrong. He's wrong. He's not wrong, but he's not right.
Waller, in theory, reference R-Truth calling Triple H a magician. And then the new belts are revealed, and Triple H says that they are now the WWE Tag Team Champions, which I predicted because, well, it was a very educated guess. These belts look a lot better than the belts that Awesome Truth got.
Dude, I didn't think they could look better, but here we are.
I mean, after seeing these belts, Miz and R-Truth got shafted.
Yeah.
Like I like it's an upgrade, the belts that they've got, but these ones look so much better.
Guys, these ones right here. This is the piece of the pie everyone wants. This is it.
Yeah, the WWE Tag Team Championships are better looking belts than the World Tag Team Championships.
They definitely got that 90s feel back. which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Triple H goes to shake Waller's hand, but Waller shakes Austin Theory's hand instead. Obviously, Triple H is annoyed by this. Nick Aldis gets right up in their shit after that. And he tells them, so like, I loved this line. I like Nick Aldis as a general manager better than Adam Pearce because Adam Pearce doesn't seem like he actually has a backbone. I'm just saying. But
It's probably how they're making him to be for his character.
yeah, I don't know. But so they do this. They do the whole blowing off Triple H to shake each other's hand instead. And Nick Aldis gets right up in their face and says that if they ever disrespect Triple H like that again, that he'll make a clown down under disappear permanently.
I loved that line too.
Like, did he just say he was gonna kill them?
I just really like the fact that he said a clown down.
Oh yeah. When he said that, I stopped, I rewound, and I listened to it again.
He's like, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
But like, did he just say that he was gonna kill them if they disrespect Triple H again?
He is him.
I mean, I feel like the obvious thought there is that he's alluding to, like, I don't think he wants them. If he could force them to lose the titles before the draft, I think he would. And then he'd ship them off to Raw. Like, that is the attitude that I get from this general manager.
I mean, realistically, both teams could switch.
I don't see it happening.
Technically, they're not set championships, but you know.
I don't foresee that happening. But yes, in theory, they could. After telling him that he'll make them disappear permanently, like, hey, I'm going to fucking murk your ass if you do that again. He takes away the SmackDown tag titles. And they don't seem to understand that they're swapping the belts because they get incredibly upsetty. Like, the looks on their faces when he takes the belts from them, it was like he just shot their dog.
Probably wishes he did.
I don't know if you know what former science teacher we have in common that.
Yes, I know the story.
Line. Yeah.
It happened in the class before mine.
Oh, well, I mean, he said that all the time, so.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know if they just kind of like forgot for a second that they were still actually champions and he wasn't like just removing them as champion by taking the old titles away. But I thought it was kind of funny. Like, the audacity of this man to vacate our titles. It's like, no, you morons. You don't need these shitty belts anymore. Take the good ones.
That's that Houdini magic again coming into play.
Yeah. Following the swapping of the belts, so to speak, Nick Aldis announces that there will be a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match for the titles and that it starts right now. Another kind of odd thing, seeing as we've now had essentially the same segment followed by the same match on 2 different shows in the same week. Granted,
copy paste.
Yeah, copy my homework, but just change it a little bit so that they don't know. Which is essentially what it was, because on Raw it was a true Fatal 4-Way style where everybody was active, right? Or did they have to tag in and out?
I think everyone was active, actually.
Like, I know each individual team had to tag in and out on Raw, but I think all 3 teams had one member that was eligible. Because I can't think of the correct word. Legal, that's the word. I think all 3 teams had a legal person at all times, whereas here in the Fatal 4-Way, there were only 2 legal men, quote unquote, despite the fact that we had countless times where there were more than just 2 people going at it.
Yeah, and the ref just was kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the refs can't really do a whole lot. We go into a commercial break. And when we come back, Naomi talks about her title shot. She talks about how she beat Tiffany Stratton last week. She talks about the draft. And then...
You gonna finish the match we were just talking about, or are you just gonna move on?
Oh, the Naomi thing happened after the commercial break, before the match started.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
that's why my notes got screwed up, because they announced the match. I wrote down the match because Street Profits and New Catch Republic came out, and then they went to commercial. Then they interviewed Naomi, and then went back, and we got to see LDF coming down, and then AOP.
Yeah.
So, following the Naomi interview, we get back down to ringside. The match starts off, and with AOP, I think it was either Graves or Wade Barrett was talking to Grayson Waller, and he mentioned that he doesn't want to have to fight AOP. So the match starts. We have Montez Ford and Tyler Bate starting. It's a typical back and forth start before Berto tags Tyler Bate to enter the match. We then get a double team on Montez Ford for a 2 count. Pete Dunne tags in off of Angelo Dawkins. I must have looked away because I missed Angelo Dawkins tagging in. AOP ends up coming in and leveling everybody, and then we go to a commercial break. I wrote down that it was maybe 5 minutes from when we just came back from commercial break. So, yeah, that was kind of
It's no
annoying.
longer commercial free.
It was like, welcome back. We'll be right back.
Hold on, we gotta get these other commercials in. We couldn't fit them in our other 5-minute time slot.
Right. We come back from commercial, and it's Rezar and Montez Ford in the ring. Not Montez Ford. Rezar has control. Waller mocks Graves and the Steelers players who are in attendance for not knowing what a championship is because it's been so long. The New Catch Republic take control following that kind of banter. Tyler Bate tries to do the airplane spin on Rezar, but he can't get him picked up. Eventually, the Street Profits and Pete Dunne come in to help lift Rezar for the spin. But then LDF come in and take Tyler Bate down like right away. So it was like, was that spot needed? Like, did we have to see him struggle, then get help just to get knocked down like right away? No, we did not.
But hey, he lifted him up.
He lifted him up. The big, strong boy lifted him up.
Yep. That's what you gotta take away from that.
I suppose.
I guess.
So LDF took out Bate, then the AOP took out Street Profits and Pete Dunne. Somewhere in this mess, Berto tagged in. The LDF then used Tyler Bate, as a weapon apparently to take down everyone. I can't remember for the life of me everything that happened in this match. Somewhere else at the bottom of this page of notes, I'm like, is this match ever going to end? Because it went on so long.
You got 8 people. You got spots to make for some of them at least.
8 people. You got Montez Ford. You don't need anybody else, and it's a spot fest.
True.
That man enters the ring, and it's nothing but spots. But so I'm kind of just riffing off of my notes here and trying to fill in stuff as it comes back to me. But yeah, somewhere along the line, Berto tagged in after AOP took down Street Profits and Dunne. Then the LDF used Bate to take down everyone, or as my notes say, everyone. I forgot the E. LDF hit Tyler Bate with a drop kick into a power bomb and get a 2 count off of it. Once again, everyone is down because I forgot the E again. The New Catch Republic is up first and lock in dual ankle locks on the LDF, but Berto and Angel both escape. And then we go into another commercial break. Third commercial break for this match, technically, since the first intro song to the end. Third
Hold on.
commercial break.
We gotta go to commercial break quick.
Yeah, right? Can we go to commercial break?
We'll be back after these messages.
When we come back from commercial, AOP is in control, because of course they are. This time they use Pete Dunne as a weapon against Montez Ford. The New Catch Republic counters the Super Collider by hitting Hurricane Ranas, causing Akam and Rizar to bonk heads. I thought it was clever. Everyone teams
the
up.
classic bonking of heads.
The Krusty Krab. Everyone then teams up to take out AOP. I noted that they had the Fireflies active during this match. I'm curious if that was just fans pushed that into happening, or if they flashed something during the commercial break telling people to do that. Either way, the arena was lit with the Fireflies. They were probably just so sick of this same match going on. This match went... I liked it
longer than
but
it should have.
It definitely lasted longer than it needed to.
They probably just needed to fill time slots because it didn't seem like there was a lot kind of going on, but
there
was
really
also
wasn't.
Just a lot of action anyways.
I think we had 4 matches.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
And this one took up so much time that between this and the Bloodline shenanigans, there really wasn't much time to squeeze in the mid-card matches before we hit the main event.
Yeah.
Following...
Just awkward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This match lasted awkwardly long for a weekly television match. But the Street Profits hit a blockbuster electric chair double team on Berto, but Pete Dunne breaks up the pin. Pete Dunne then breaks Angelo Dawkins' finger, then gets taken out by Montez Ford. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne hit stereo moonsaults on the outside, while Montez Ford literally flies. This man's got wings. He gets so high over the post, the ring post.
He must have took some Red Bull before he did that jump. Because he had wings.
I am cutting that. Go fuck yourself. Fuck off.
What?
You know what. Following the moonsaults, Tyler Bate quickly gets Berto back into the ring, and he tries to hit the Tyler driver, but Berto escapes and gets a 2 off of an inside cradle. LDF then take control, and it was right here where my question mark is this match going to end? At this point, I was expecting it to go over the first hour mark. Angel hits a moonsault on Tyler Bate, but this time Montez Ford soars again to break up the pin. Angelo Dawkins tags himself in off of Tyler Bate before the Street Profits hit Revelation to finally score the victory. So the Street Profits are the number 1 contenders. We then get a flashback to Rhea having to relinquish her title before we hear from Bayley, who talks about her title defense and says that seeing Rhea have to vacate her title makes her appreciate hers even more. She says that she's focused and that as of right now, she is the only women's champ in WWE and that she's going to win tonight. Spoiler, she does.
Oh, why'd you tell me that?
By disqualification. We then catch back up with the misadventures of Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. Paul Heyman can't find Kevin Owens. Solo Sikoa, very annoyed by this. He heads into gorilla position. Heyman pleads with Solo. He tells Solo that he's making decisions that aren't his to make, that eventually they might be his decisions to make, but they're not yet. Once Solo has had enough of Heyman's pleading, he just basically is like, are we fucking done yet? Like, are you done talking?
Basically just blows everything he said off.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't listening one bit.
Pretty much. Solo's music then hits, and they head out through the curtain to go to the ring. I questioned, are we getting introduced to another new member here? Another spoiler, we did not.
Oh.
I think it was far better, but we'll get there.
The camera transition, beautiful yet again.
Yes, sir.
I'm loving that.
Following the commercial break, we are in the ring, and Paul Heyman calls himself a top backstage political maneuverer. He calls
While wearing
blood...
his ring, too. I noticed that. I don't think he wore it was last week.
I guess I didn't even notice.
Yeah, he's got his Hall of Fame ring on. He even flashed it during his promo.
Well, he should. And I mean, he's probably not wrong when he says that he's a top backstage political maneuverer. I believe that. I find that very believable. He calls the Bloodline the premier act in the history of WWE.
Show me the lie.
Well, it only took, 2 weeks removed? Yeah, 2 SmackDowns removed from WrestleMania. Technically 1 if you want to count how many it took before it finally happened. But we got the chance for "We Want Roman" during this.
Yo.
Yeah, like,
dude, they gave Solo the Dom treatment.
Oh, it was great. It was great. This man you couldn't even hear what he said.
I didn't think that could happen to anybody else. I literally didn't. And then I was watching and I was like, oh my god, dude. Are him and Dominic like the top 2 heels now? Or at least the most hated?
I mean, Solo's doing a good job.
He's proven himself. That's for damn sure.
I don't think that he's calling the shots though. We'll get to that though. I have a very, in my mind at least, I have a funny remark for later in the show. I definitely put it in my notes. Following the "We Want Roman" chants, Heyman starts to stumble over his words before Solo just takes the mic away and then gets booed out the building. When he finally starts talking, you can kind of hear what he's saying through all the boos. But he said that last week he had to lose a brother in order for him to find a new one. I'm not sure that's how that works. I think you can have more than one brother. I mean, I'm not fully up to speed on the laws in Pennsylvania or wherever they were the week before. But
Jimmy's still alive.
I'm fairly positive that there's no law in the United States of America, at least, that says you're only allowed to have one brother. So, I don't know, dog.
Well, technically he had 2. Well, realistically he had 2 before he knew of Tama Tonga.
Jay's been dead to him for a while, and now Jimmy's dead to him too.
Yeah. But they're still alive.
Yeah, but they're dead to him.
He still has brothers. No, they're still alive.
They got the wrong color hair, dude. Come on. Come on, brother.
Sorry. I'm sorry, brother.
Solo calls out his MFT Tama Tonga. Well, kinda. He doesn't directly call him out, but he alludes to it. And then we're shown at the stage where a bloody Kevin Owens basically falls out onto the stage with Tama Tonga behind him, more or less dragging him to the ring. Finally, we get some referees that come down to interfere, but they're usually pretty useless at stopping stuff like this. And Solo, Tama Tonga, and Paul Heyman hold up the ones, and Heyman looks absolutely terrified. Kevin Owens then gets away from the referees and stumbles his way to the ring. He brings the fight to Tama Tonga by grabbing him and yanking him out of the ring before Solo ends up throwing Owens into the steps. He then throws Kevin Owens back in the ring, or like rolls him back in the ring. God, imagine Solo Sikoa just like one hand picking up Kevin Owens and lawn darting him into the ring. Once Owens is back in the ring, Nick Aldis and security arrive. Solo tells Tama to get him, as in get Kevin Owens. So Tama slides back into the ring, but Kevin Owens takes him down and starts punching him. For Tama Tonga having bloodied up Kevin Owens as much as he did here, for us to believe that and then have Kevin Owens essentially best Tama Tonga in their one-on-one situations in the inside the arena,
it made the blood very fake.
It made Tama Tonga less believable to have been able to cause that. Like, if you're gonna have him best someone, don't have it be the person we're supposed to believe just kicked his ass all the way out to the ring. We're supposed to believe that Tama Tonga kicked KO's ass all around the backstage area, but then once they're out in front of the crowd, Tama just can't get the better of Kevin Owens one-on-one. Like, come on. Once Kevin Owens was beaten on Tama Tonga, security pulls him off and conveniently holds Kevin Owens up so that Solo Sikoa could hit him with a Samoan spike. Tama Tonga then continues the assault on Kevin Owens as security's busy pulling Solo Sikoa away. Just a complete train wreck. Like, all of those security guards fired. Horrible at their job.
Are they ever good at their job?
No, wrestling security sucks.
They normally get beat up.
Yeah. Pro wrestling security is like, I think I would hire a mall cop to protect me before I would hire pro wrestling security. Once Solo Sikoa gets pulled away, I notice that Jamie Noble is out there. And I just wonder, where's Joey Mercury? Like, J&J security probably could have had this shit on lock. I'm just saying. They protected Seth sometimes. They also got their ass kicked quite a bit.
The authority's coming back.
But I'm just saying, J&J security probably would have been like half a step above the standard pro wrestling security.
Top security in WWE right there.
Tama Tonga fights his way through security to continue assaulting Kevin Owens. Security finally gets them separated, but then Tama Tonga grabs a chair from ringside. Security wavers and like goes to hide behind the bloodied Kevin Owens.
Throwing him to the wolves.
So we then get the badass Nick Aldis once again, who stands up between Tama and Kevin Owens. So, like, Nick Aldis ain't taking yo shit.
It's like, you're the next ones that are going to be gone forever.
Like, man just gets right up in there, finger it pointing at him and everything. Like, Nick Aldis ain't taking no shit. Gator don't play no shit.
Gator don't play no shit. Sorry, just when I get really excited, the pimp side of me comes out.
Following Nick Aldis starting to threaten him, Solo Sikoa finally calls off Tama Tonga. And then as they're leaving, the crowd chants, "You suck." They throw up the ones on stage, and Heyman still looks absolutely terrified to be with these guys. I guess I have wrote here that he looks like a reluctant participant. We then go into a commercial break, and when we come back, we're still with Paul Heyman, separate from Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Paul Heyman is back outside where he was to greet Solo Sikoa upon his arrival. He looks lost. Like, he looks like he's just lost, like in a mental state of being lost. Suddenly, Nick Aldis comes into frame and takes Paul Heyman to go see something. and he shows him a car crash outside and asks if Paul knew about it. Obviously, Paul says that he did not know about it. We're supposed to believe that Tama Tonga crashed the car into Kevin Owens' car. So he did it for The Rock.
I did it for The Rock.
Exactly.
I did it for the people.
Exactly. He did it for The Rock.
But he did.
Oh no, he definitely did. I would put money on, like, if I could go to Vegas and bet on this, I would bet on the fact that The Rock is the one who gets revealed to be the tribal chief now.
I don't know. Solo's kind of...
Solo's doing it by orders of the tribal chief.
Or does he say the final boss?
One of these times he might. One of these times. And everyone's going to lose their minds. Heyman tells Nick Aldis that that attack was not authorized. And Aldis tells Heyman he will not tolerate this behavior next week during the draft, and to make sure that the bloodline understands. Aldis tells Heyman if they don't understand, then the repercussions are going to be equally savage, and that losing isn't the only thing that has consequences.
He's gonna kill him. That's it.
Dun. Oh yeah,
he's killing him.
Yeah, he's now told 2 different teams on his roster that, like, you piss me off again, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Dude's more psychotic than Dexter Loomis.
Maybe that's who he's gonna hire, or I'm a seal over here, or maybe the family, the D'Angelo family from NXT.
It's all about family.
Maybe he brings in the D'Angelo family. I mean, they already, like, Drew Gulak, so what's a few more people? Am I right?
Yeah.
Show me the lie.
Show me the lie.
Then Carlito's music hits. Obviously, the new theme songs are trash.
Yep.
He initially comes out with Ray, Zelina, Dragon Lee, and Joaquin Wilde, but only Zelina comes down to the ring with him. And I question, how's he going to turn heel on Ray if Ray isn't down there?
Here's the thing. He's not yet.
I mean, he's absolutely the one that attacked Dragon Lee. Like, if they don't follow through with this being the story, I don't know that we can say we're in a new era. He's down there to face Santos Escobar to get revenge for attacking Dragon Lee. Lulz. Irony. Santos still says that they didn't attack Dragon Lee. Santos has Elektra Lopez at ringside for him. That is important. It's a surprise tool that will help us later. Carlito takes control early, and he sends Escobar outside, tries to launch himself over the ropes, but the ref blocks him for some reason. Like, he's just trying to do a crossbody over the ropes, like, to ringside. Gets done pretty regularly, but for some odd reason, the ref just, like, stepped between him and the ropes and was like, can't let you do this, brother.
Listen, brother.
Even Carlito's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, the look on Carlito's face was just utter confusion as to why the ref is literally blocking him from doing a move that happens all the time.
It is what it is.
Carlito ends up hitting Santos with a baseball slide after the awkward encounter with the ref occurred. And then he finally does the crossbody. So that just, again, it's like, I don't know what the ref was doing, but I didn't get it.
Maybe that wasn't the spot that he was supposed to do it at.
I don't know.
But if they're both ready for it too, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, like the baseball slide just seemed like well, we've had this awkward point of nothingness. We got to do something and then work back into that move to go into a commercial break. Because
And by the way, he was safe.
was he?
I
You sure he wasn't
it's
out?
very the umps are still talking about it.
Ah, okay. But once on the outside, Carlito goes over and lifts Zelina up on his shoulders to take us into a commercial break. When we come back from commercial, Santos has taken control. He hits Hurricane Rana from the top rope, but only gets a 2 count out of it. Carlito starts to fight back. He eventually starts acting like he's going to go to the top rope and then just takes like half hour to do so. In that time, Elektra Lopez gets involved and Zelina tries to take her out with a Hurricane Rana on the outside, but Lopez catches her and just like spins and whips her into the barricade. So obviously that gets Carlito's attention and saves him from actually having to climb the turnbuckle anymore.
Yep.
Escobar takes advantage of this and he hits the Phantom Driver for 3. Following this, we're then taken up to a press box or a luxury box, whatever they're called. And Kayla Braxton is talking to Damage Control. Dakota Kai says that Io is going to win her title back at Backlash and that the Kabuki Warriors are still the women's tag team champions. They're interrupted by Jade Cargill's music. And then magically Jade and Bianca Houdini themselves into the luxury box directly next to Damage Control. So yeah, these two teams that hate each other are going to sit in neighboring luxury boxes to watch the main event, which is Naomi versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Naomi comes out for the main event. This is where I have it noted that Naomi's song is trash. And then we go into a commercial break. When we come back, they announce the total attendance. As I said earlier, 14,994 glorious people. We get a video from Cody Rhodes, who is currently on tour in the UK. He is standing clearly at the O2, which is a famous arena in the UK, in case you didn't know.
Very famous.
He somehow already knows that AJ won, despite it. Like, it said that the video was from earlier today. Like, okay, so you mean to tell me that in the last hour, this man has found out his opponent and made this video, all while it's been between 2 and 3 a.m., where he looks like he just got done performing?
See.
Like, the video was believable up until, like, with the earlier today, it was believable up until he acknowledged that AJ Styles won, and then it's like, you just ruined your continuity with that. Like,
he could have just said, I can't wait for my match, but he had to go and say the name.
Right. I can only suspend my disbelief so much. Like, obviously Cody's probably known that he's facing AJ Styles for a week, maybe longer. Like, he's known who he's facing. It wasn't like he didn't have to wait and see the match happen to know who he was facing. But like, to then have them do this, like, we already know that he knows. Don't screw up continuity and make it seem like this man just got done performing at 2:00 in the morning in Europe and is now gonna cut a promo on his opponent for in what, like 2 or 3 weeks? Like, that's not gonna happen. Dude's fast asleep right now.
Nah, he'd be up cutting promos at 3 a.m.
Actually, he was probably up headed to the gym. Because I did
J-I-M Jim. Yeah, you heard me right.
Did you fail the spelling bee? But so I looked it up, and at the time of this video, it was 8:40 p.m. Central Standard Time, which would make it 2:40 a.m. where he was. So that's how I got my time frame for like when this video would have been. Nevertheless, Bailey then comes out for the main event. Her music is very heelish.
After she
just turned face, yes. The music they gave her, it sounds like music a heel would have.
But isn't she considered the... God, what is it? I forget now. She's got a new...
The role
title.
model?
The role model.
Yeah, but she did that before. Like when she first turned heel, she was calling herself the role model.
I guess I just don't get the Egyptian style music.
I don't know.
The Egyptian style, but WrestleMania really threw me off on that.
Yeah, there was something to that entrance. I forget what it was, but there was a meaning behind it. Most of the people just didn't know there was a meaning behind it. But so we get into the match.
Back the Bailey buddies.
Yeah, still no Bailey buddies, and like, what are we doing? Why are there no Bailey buddies? Give us those wacky, wavy, inflatable arm tube men.
Wacky, wavy, arm flailing, inflatable tube men.
There you go.
You say it right or not at all.
So we get into the match, and it's back and forth early, like most matches. We get multiple roll-ups from both before we hit a double down off of yet another double crossbody. It's almost like we've seen that happen once already tonight. Naomi then hits the rear view for 2 as we head into a commercial break. When we come back, Naomi has control. She hits a diving crossbody for 2. Bailey goes for a diving elbow, but Naomi gets her knees up to take control back. Naomi then hits a springboard facebuster for 2. Naomi also hits a split leg moonsault, but Bailey gets her knees up. Around this time, Bailey started selling a knee injury, or like that her knee was weak or something, like in pain. So that gave a target of like something to watch. Bailey dropped Naomi with a jumping knee, ironic, followed by a diving elbow drop for 2. But Naomi then countered the rose plant. Following a pair of kickouts, they trade punches before Naomi takes control again, and Bailey ends up out of the ring. Naomi hits one of those, normal crossbody maneuvers that for whatever reason the ref wasn't going to let Carlito hit. Bailey throws Naomi onto the announce table, and it's at this time that the center of the universe, Tiffany Stratton, attacks Bailey, forcing a DQ, before then also attacking Naomi, then going back to Bailey, then going back and attacking Naomi, and then eventually rolling them both in the ring while telling the crowd, sorry, it's Tiffy time. And then she hit both Naomi and Bailey at the same time with the prettiest moonsault, and then went back to telling the crowd, sorry, it's Tiffy time, as the show closed. So I'm expecting, if Bailey defends her belt at Backlash, which I don't think she will, since she just defended it against Naomi, I think they'll keep her off of the Backlash card. Okay, so the PLE...
King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. God, I don't think they would do a title match because they're going to be focused on the tournaments. So does Bayley not defend her title until Clash at the Castle? Maybe she does defend at Backlash too. I don't know. Either way, I think the next person that challenges Bayley is going to be Tiffany Stratton.
And it's going to come down to a number one contenders match between Naomi and Tiffy time.
Probably. But I feel like Naomi is going to be realigning with Bianca and Jade to take on Damage Control again.
Yep.
Like there's more to tell there. Like they haven't drained that well yet. They can go back to it. This was kind of like a detour. And it also helped set up Tiffany Stratton more. So I do think that Tiffany Stratton's going to be the first like PLE challenger for Bayley's title. And that's unfortunate because honestly, I think Tiffany Stratton should be the one to dethrone Bayley. So maybe we don't see a title defense from Bayley now again until Clash at the Castle. And maybe Tiffany Stratton loses, but then a month later wins Money in the Bank.
Yeah. That's an avenue that I could get down with.
I mean, I definitely think that Tiffany Stratton is Miss Money in the Bank. I feel like they've postmarked that already. I'm going to call it right now. Tiffany Stratton is Miss Money in the Bank. And you think Sammy loses the IC title in Scotland to Chad Gable, and then Sami Zayn is Mr. Money in the Bank?
Could be. My honest prediction is LA Knight.
Okay.
If he can keep his momentum going. If he loses momentum at all, just being around the title picture, then he's not going to win Money in the Bank unless they really like him now.
Right. Nah, I'm going to call it here. I'm going to say that Tiffany Stratton is Miss Money in the Bank and Logan Paul is Mr. Money in the Bank. Print it.
So who wins the U.S. title then?
I never said that Logan Paul dropped the title yet.
Yeah.
You can hold both. Because I think Logan Paul loses his U.S. title in Cleveland at SummerSlam. And maybe he goes on later that night to cash in Money in the Bank. I don't know. I'm not predicting that far ahead, but I will also say Logan Paul loses U.S. title, Cleveland, SummerSlam, print that
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what leads up to Money in the Bank for sure. I mean, Backlash is like the hangover for WrestleMania anyway, so
I guess the only thing I could see derailing Tiffany Stratton as Miss Money in the Bank is if we get what we talked about in the Raw recap. If Rhea Ripley pushes and gets back early, we could end up with Mommy in the Bank. That concludes the Smackdown recap. I've been Dylan Graives. He's been John Sutton. If you want to support Wrestle Recap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can also comment down below and let us know how we're doing. Until next time, have a good one.